Hello, good evening, and welcome to Become a Better Man. My name is Tunde Disu, and thank you for taking the time out to be part of this program. I want to welcome all of you, both here in the UK and around the world. You are very, very welcome. On today's program, we are starting a new series called Kindness. We're starting a new series entitled Kindness. Now, I want to also apologize about last week that I couldn't come on for various reasons, but please bear with me. But we're here today and we're looking at kindness. We are starting a new series on kindness. And naturally, anybody and everybody will tell you, I'm a kind person. I am a very kind person. Now, you might not see it that way. That is, the person that is being addressed may disagree with that. But you see, naturally, we as human beings are naturally kind. We are kind by nature. However, our exposures, experiences, interactions with other people, life issues, and other things around us has kind of tainted or to some degree polluted that natural instinct, that natural tendency for us to be kind. And so when somebody says, I'm a kind person, the first thing that goes off in your head is, really? Let me be the judge of that. But you see, naturally, we are kind as human beings. We are made by nature, by default, by everything. We are made with kindness. We are kind. But you see, one of the people in our lives, or the person that we are most unkind to, in most cases, is ourselves. The person that you are more hard on, that you demand more from, you don't take, you don't allow to go scot-free most of the time, is yourself, and rightly so. Because you see, our life generally is like a bag of tea. Now, a tea bag is just dry leaves in a bag. That's all it is. And so if you look at that tea bag, you may think, well, of what use is this tea bag? But if you put that same tea bag under a different circumstance, under a different environment, in a different setup, then you will start to see other things that you were unable to see just looking at the dry leaves in the bag in the first instance. You start to see the tea bag giving you even more than you thought it had. What am I trying to say? We are kind by nature, but because of what we've all been through and what we're dealing with and what we're handling, we tend to come across as not as kind as we ought to be or we claim to be. But that does not take away from the fact that by nature, human beings are kind. We are kind as human beings. So when we talk about kindness, what are we actually talking about? By definition, kindness is a behavioral pattern that is demonstrated by ethical characteristics of a pleasant disposition or a concern and consideration for others. So, kindness is a behavioral pattern, is something that emanates, that is displayed by nature of how we behave. But even that behavior is demonstrated in the way we interact with other people, we relate to other people, we encounter and handle and manage not just ourselves, but even other people, other situations and circumstances. But most importantly, most evidently, this behavioral pattern is usually demonstrated in a way that display a pleasant disposition towards another person, a kindness, a concern, and a consideration for other people that we deal with. So when you have a pleasant disposition, a pleasant outlook, a pleasant way of interacting with people, and you do that, you display that, you carry that out from a point of concern, of giving the other person the advantage, of being a considerate person, generally people look at you and say you are a kind person, that you are a kind person. You see, kindness is a virtue. It is a virtue that it is universally recognized as a value of human decency. Everywhere in the world, irrespective of your background, your geographical location, your color, your height, your language, whatever it is, across the platform, across the whole world, people recognize kindness as a virtue of human decency. It is the quality of our being friendly, of our the generosity that we display towards others. How considerate are we? How affectionate and gentle are we towards others? Are we warm or a cold person? Do we actually care about other people? When you bring all of this together, now you are looking at kindness in display. Now, one of the tragedy about kindness is that people tend to look at and refer to and think about people who are naturally and genuinely kind. People tend to think, oh, they're just weak, they are naive, they are not strong, and all of that. And so, when somebody, that type of mindset has therefore made a lot of people, or forced a lot of people, in an attempt not to show weakness, in an attempt to show boldness and strength, some of the elements of kindness is lost in the transition. But generally, people look at or relate or refer to kind people as either being weak or being naive or not sure of themselves. But that is very far from the truth. That is so far from the truth, because in order to be kind, in order for you to demonstrate kindness, in order for you to live a life that is an embodiment of kindness, you have to be strong. You need strength. And you have to be courageous. You need courage to be able to show kindness, because almost everything around you is dictating otherwise. Almost everything around you is requiring you to do otherwise. But you will need strength and a depth of courage for you to be able to perpetually, continuously show kindness to other people. Kindness is an interpersonal skill. And what does that mean? You remember I said at the beginning, it is something that is that is inherent in us. But because of the rough edges of the things that we encounter, we tend to lose some of the pleasure of being kind. Therefore, it has become a skill, an interpersonal skill, an interrelational skill that you can learn, you can grow it, you can develop it, you can increase it, you can take it, you can broaden it beyond your immediate environment. I like what Mark Twain said about kindness. He said, kindness is a language which the deaf hears and the blind can see. What does that mean? Kindness is something that anybody who is at the receiving end of kindness knows. They know it. They understand it. They feel it. They enjoy it. They like the experience of somebody showing kindness towards them. The question I want to ask you is, how do you feel as a person? How do you feel on the inside when somebody show kindness towards you? Especially when there is no string attached, no expectations of a reciprocate action from you. When somebody is just genuinely, openly, just being kind to you, how do you feel? How does it make you feel? One, about yourself, two, about the situation, but most importantly, how does it make you feel about the person that is showing kindness towards you? And that is why what Mark Twain is saying here is so correct, that kindness is a language. It's a medium of communication. It's an avenue of interpersonal relationship that even if you are deaf, you can hear it. Even if you are blind, you can see it. I know the world that we live in, the society in general thrives on the principle of the survival of the fittest. What does that mean? Look after yourself. You are number one. Live on the principle of me, myself, and I. Be selfish. Be self-centered. Think about yourself alone, or think about yourself first at the worst. But you see, as good as that may sound, as rewarding as that ideology may be or may have resulted to you, in reality, human beings are not biologically made to be competitive and self-centered. We are not made to be competitive and self-centered. We are made as a social being. And that is why it is hard to live a life where it is just you. We need somebody. You need somebody. We need ourselves. We need others around us for us to feel the existence of life itself. It is so important for us to be able to relate and interact and rub against other people. And that is what makes human beings special, because we are social beings. We are profoundly a social and caring species with sympathetic and caring disposition, especially to others who we consider to be of less strength or less privilege than we are. So even though the world thrives on this idea of survival of the fittest, look for yourself, take care of yourself, provide for yourself, it's just you and all of that, it is against our natural inclination, because naturally we're not made to be self-centered and self-focused. We are made naturally to reach out to other people, to touch other people, to feel other people, and allow other people to come into our lives as well. You see, even by research scientifically, it's been proven that devoting resources to others, what does that mean? Helping others, reaching out to others, giving to others, being there for others, rather than hoarding and holding to yourself and just taking and taking and taking. When you reach out to others, scientifically it's been proven that it brings about lasting well-being and pleasure to you. Isn't that amazing that even the Bible talks about it is better to give than to receive? It is more blessed. It is more profitable. There is something that it does to you. There is something that happens to you that you can't explain. But then there is this warmth. There is this glow. There is this joy. There is this peace. There is this inner tranquility that you feel when you extend kindness to other people. Now, don't get me wrong. Most people don't deserve it. Most people don't. I mean, you think, you kind to you? Are you for real? But you see, when you do it, you're not doing it primarily for them. You're doing it to them, but you're not doing it for them. Because ultimately, the joy that you are the person that you are able to help, to provide, to support, to encourage, to be there for somebody, to give somebody a helping hand. Oh, it's priceless. It is priceless. It is so overwhelming. It's amazing how you feel when you extend a hand of kindness towards other people. One of the I read I read an article some years ago, and it was about something to do with marriage, and the secret to longevity in marriage, the secret to a peaceful and joyous marriage, is and all the relationships, but focusing primarily on marriage. And one of the overriding theme in most of the couples, elderly couples that were interviewed in that article, and they were asking them, if you can sum it up in one or two words, what is the secret to this unending blissfulness that you guys are enjoying in your marriage? It's amazing that about 72% said, we came to a point where we decided that irrespective of what is going on, irrespective of what is happening, irrespective of what the other person is done, I am going to be kind to them. Does that mean they don't get upset? Oh no, they do. Does that mean they live happily thereafter? No. But you see, it's a choice. It's a decision. It's a purpose of the heart to say, I am going to be kind to you, not because we're married, but I'm going to be kind to you despite the fact that you get on my nerves, despite the fact that you're not doing what I expected, despite the fact that you're not delivering on your promises, despite the fact that things that we've talked about for the past 10 years is still happening. But I am going to be kind to you. And these elderly couples, 72% of them cited kindness as one of the secrets to the joy and the peace and the happiness in their marriage. I cannot stress enough how much blessing it is in kindness. One of the dangers or one of the challenges about kindness is that it is easy to say, oh, I'm a very kind person. I show kindness to them. Oh, I am very kind in my heart, and you can see in it. But it is not in what you are saying per se. It is when you now have the opportunity to deliver on that kindness, to be the person that will stand up for somebody who couldn't stand up for himself or herself. When you are the person that will speak up for somebody who couldn't speak for himself or herself. When you are the one that will open your eyes and see somebody who is definitely, desperately in need of help, and it is within your power to give that help, to render that support, to show that kindness. It is when you do it that you are actually kind, not when you say it. Kindness is so easy. All you have to do is open your eyes. All you have to do is open your eyes, open your ears, open your heart, open your hands, and open your mouth. When you bring all this together, your kindness is unstoppable. Your kindness is unstoppable. See, kindness, a practical demonstration of kindness, is in the opening of your eyes to notice when others are suffering and speak up to them, for them. About 2 weeks ago, I think 2 Mondays ago, I did a short video presentation instead of the usual Monday Bible study that we do, I did a short presentation talking about the ongoing situation in America regarding the separation of children from their parents at the border because they entered the US illegally. Now, does that mean we're encouraging people to break the law? No. Does that mean we're saying the law should not be enforced? Nobody is saying that. But we are saying, be kind. Show compassion. Irrespective of who this person is, where they're coming from, how they have come through, or where they have come from, at the end of the day, they're just another human being. And nature requires that we show kindness towards them. So kindness is in the opening of your eyes to notice when others are suffering and be there for them. A kind word, a gentle smile, the opening of the door for somebody, or holding the door for the person coming behind you. Those are examples of the little kindness that you can show, that you can do, that will melt even the most stony heart. Kindness in celebrating someone that you care about is giving honest compliments, not lip service, but heart originated compliment to somebody. Telling someone how he or she makes you feel. That is a demonstration of kindness. Sharing food, refusing to gossip about your neighbor, your friend, your colleagues, or whatever. Those are acts of kindness. Kindness ultimately is celebrating someone else's success. You see, when somebody is going through a challenge, or a difficulty, or bereavement, or loss, or whatever, it is easy to show kindness because that is what is expected. It is easy to call them, to ring them, to visit them in the hospital, to cook for them, to run their errands when they are going through life issues and crises. But true, genuine kindness is demonstrated when you see your neighbor, when you see your friend, your family, your colleague succeeding, and you celebrate that success genuinely. Now, that is kindness. Not that you celebrate it and then you turn around and you roll your eyes. Not that you look at their success and you think, why should it be happening to them? What about me? I've been believing, I've been doing. No, that's not kindness. Kindness is when you are able to celebrate somebody else's success from the bottom of your heart, from the guts, from your guts. You feel it. You just want to express how wonderful it is that that person is succeeding. Now, that is kindness. Kindness is telling the truth in a gentle way. Kindness is telling the truth in a gentle way. Kindness is receiving accurate feedback from somebody else and receive it with a loving and caring way. Don't. I know a lot of us struggle with criticism and genuine feedbacks and constructive challenge to our views and our thoughts and all of that. But you see, part of kindness is not just giving that feedback. Part of kindness is recognizing that this person that is giving me this back cares so much about me that they will risk getting me upset, risk my anger and disagreement, but yet still give me a genuine feedback or constructive criticism of how you can become better in what you're doing. When you bring all of this together, when you are able to manage that, that is kindness. Kindness is the courage to give and to receive truthful feedback. Because ultimately, a truthful, a well constructed, and well meant feedback will help you to grow in life. But like I said at the beginning, one of the challenges about kindness is we always, in most cases, struggle to be kind to ourselves. Yes, we can be kind to others. Yes, we can be kind to colleagues, to family, to friends. But when we come to ourselves, a lot of people struggle with being kind to themselves. But kindness is not just what you do to others or what you do for others. Kindness is also what you do to yourself and for yourself. Treat yourself kindly. Speak gently and kindly to yourself. Take care of yourself. Yes, recognize when you've made a mistake. Recognize when you haven't measured up. But don't beat yourself up. Because the truth is, if that same thing is done by somebody else, you will not be as hard on them as you are on yourself. But what a lot of people fail to recognize is the fact that the more you beat yourself down, the less you rise up on the inside. And because you can't rise up on the inside, guess what? That is the vibe you're giving to people. And then you wonder why people are maltreating you, taking you for granted, taking advantage of you. Because ultimately, that is what you're giving out. And it starts with you beating yourself up all the time. So don't just be kind to others. Let this charity start at home. Let this kindness originate from you. Show kindness towards others. Show kindness towards yourself as you would do to others. I like what Desmond Tutu said. He said, do your little bit of good wherever you are. Your little bit of good in whatever area, whatever circumstances, when it's up to you, do your little bit of good where you are. Because it's those little bits of good put together that overwhelms the world. I remember when I was in secondary school, we have this book called SOP, Songs of Praise, and there's one song, little drops of water, little sprinkle of rain make up the big ocean and all of that. It's those little here, little there. And when you bring them together, it becomes the big that overwhelms the world, according to Desmond Tutu. Are you a kind person? Would you consider yourself kind? Would you describe yourself rather as a kind person? There are certain people in my life that I will always be grateful to. And the truth is, you have them too. There are certain people that at certain points in my life, when I was almost hitting the floor, they gently slip their hand underneath and stop me from hitting the floor, but more than that, they lifted me up and gradually back to my feet. I can't forget them. And the truth is, you too have some people like that in your life. They didn't primarily, it's not necessarily that they probably give you money or whatever, but there is there is an act of kindness from them towards you that no amount of money in this world can buy, because it was at the point that you desperately in need of it. For me, one of those people It's a good friend of ours, Margaret Mativenga. He lives in St. Albans. One of those people is Pastor Nicholas and Patience Udo. One of those people is my uncle, Josiah Awolowo. People who, at the point where things, like General Achebe said, were falling apart and the center could not hold, but they were there. They picked me up and said, no, we will show kindness towards you. I will always be grateful. I will always remember them. Every time their thought comes to my mind, every time their names comes into my head, every time a vision of them is before me, there is a joy that fills my heart. But more than that, they because of what they did, these people and many others, because of what they did, I have made it a life ambition that when it is up to me, when I have the opportunity also to be kind to somebody, I will not withhold my hand. I will not hold back myself. I will not consider the cost. Because in my time of need, these people were there for me. And to them and many others, I say thank you. So, we've been talking about kindness. We've looked at what it is, how it is, the fact that we are naturally kind people, we're made that way. But you see, kindness is not something that you say. Kindness is something that you do. It is in the doing that kindness finds value. It is in the doing that kindness brings meaning. It's in the doing that kindness fills this earth. It's not in what you say or what you are thinking in your heart or in your mind or in your head. It is the doing that demonstrates kindness. So quickly, let's look at some of the ways by which you can spread kindness. Now, to some people, you may be thinking, well, I just know I'm not a kind person. It's not my thing. No, that's what you have been made to believe. The reality is, by nature, you're a kind person. You are. We all are kind. We are kind by nature. So how do we spread? How do we demonstrate? What are some of the ways by which we can actually give this kindness out to others? Remember, kindness is not just about you. It's not just something that lives and resides within you. Until it touches others, until it reaches out, until it makes a difference in somebody else's life, you're not kind. You may think kind. You may speak kind, but until your kindness is demonstrated, it's not benefiting anybody. So what are some of the ways to spread kindness, to display kindness? The first one is, make somebody's day. Go out there every day with a determination that before the sun sets today, I am going to make somebody's day. Now, does that mean you have to give the person your bank details and give them your PIN number? Maybe not. Does that mean you have to, move out of your house and move them in and you live on the street? That's not what I'm saying. You see, the act of kindness is not in the magnitude. It's not in the size per se. It's in the doing, and doing it at the right time, to the right person, at the right place, but with a genuine heart. When we were growing up, I'm sure some of us will remember this. If you do something, say you've done something wrong, one of the things our parents will say is, as your punishment, go and do something nice to someone. Sometimes they'll say, go and apologize to the person. Sometimes they will say, go and do something nice to someone else. And you see, at that age, we don't even know. We're not sure of what's the point of that. Why do I have to? This is the person that is offended, that I have offended. I've apologized. The person said the apology accepted. Why then do I have to go and find somebody to be nice to? Simply put, because our parents, they were training us, they were grooming us to reach deep and touch that part of us that is by nature the kind part of us. And so in order for you to go and do something nice to somebody, you have to find what is it about that person that I can be nice about. What is it I can do to that person that that person will consider as me being nice to them? And so it is the thought process behind doing that nice thing that it forces you to reach deep and be creative and be resourceful and find something to do. And because you do it, not because they're going to do something back to you, but because you have to do it. It comes from the deepest part of you. And so while it is being a blessing to that person, you are more blessed because somehow you've discovered a part of you that you probably never knew was there. You have gone deeper to a part of you that you probably have never been before. And you've been able to pull up something new, something unique, something specific. That's when we were growing up. That's when we were little. But now that we are adults, part of how we make another person's day, part of what we do as a way of, or as a show of kindness towards others to make their day, could be as simple as a phone call. Hey, how you doing? Just wanted to hear your voice. I hope everything is fine. Thanks. Bye. That's it. There's a guy, a friend of mine, Justice Olagun. Oh, Pope, thank you. I appreciate your friendship. Every now and again, out of the blue, Mr. Olagun will pick up the phone and call. Elder, how are you doing? How are my family? And this, and that, and that. Oh, I just want to say how you doing. Nothing much. Just reaching out to say hello. Now, you can say, well, that's just a phone call. But you see, it is not the phone call that is the issue. It's the thought behind it. And usually after that phone call, it melts your heart because you realize that of all the things this guy could be doing, of all the issues in his life he could be dealing with, he thought about me and did not just leave it at that point of thinking. He grabbed the phone, did something about it. Now, that is priceless. That is kindness. So as an adult, sometimes your friend will say, oh, I'm moving house. Do you have a free 2 hours to spare? Most times, we don't have time to spend anymore. We don't have free time on our hands anymore. But when you take your time to go and help that your friend, even if all you do is move the boxes from his kitchen to the removal vehicle, or from the removal vehicle to the new house or whatever, that act of kindness, it goes a long way. Say somebody just had a baby, and in your house you thought it wise to cook something nice for this new mother. It helps that new mother from wondering, what am I going to eat? What are this person going to eat? Da, 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 da. That's your simple act of kindness. They will remember it for a long time. But more than that, they will be in a position where they would say, I must do that for somebody else. There was a movie I watched years ago, very long time ago. It's called Pay It Forward. Oh, if you have not seen that movie, if you not watched it, go and find it. I'm sure it'll be somewhere on the internet. It is called Pay It Forward. Where you do good for somebody, instead of them doing good to you, you say, no, go and do that to somebody else. Imagine if the whole world can do that. If you're looking for a lasting happiness, then you have to be generous. You have to be generous. And you know the funny thing about generosity? You cannot be generous without suppressing your own ego. You cannot be generous without putting aside self-interest. You cannot be generous without considering other people above yourself. So for you to be generous, number one, you have to suppress your own ego. You have to take your eyes off yourself. Then you need to be sure, you have to be very sure that the motive behind your generosity is pure. And it's not because you're expecting something in return. So in order for you to experience lasting happiness through generosity, you have to suppress your ego, and you have to do it with a clean motive. Because true kindness, a genuine kindness, is done without the expectation of receiving something in return. You do it because you're in a position to do it. Is that not what the Bible said? The Bible says, it is a sin unto you when it is within your power to do good to somebody, but you withhold that power, that ability, that enablement, you hold it back to you. The Bible says it's a sin unto you. My brother, my sister, kindness is doing the right thing because it is the right thing to do. Kindness is doing the right thing because it is the right thing to do. So the first way of spreading kindness is make a decision to make somebody's day. Find somebody to make their day. Look for somebody to be a blessing to. You need to also act generously. You see, generosity, how can I explain this? Generosity, it lifts your happiness. When you are generous, when you are genuinely generous, you are more happy. You know why? Because when you are generous, the happiness comes from, I said earlier, by nature, we are made to be kind. And part of that kindness is this happiness that I'm talking about. When you are generous, which is an act of kindness, it heightens your joy. You know why? Because there is a chemical in the brain called oxytocin. Oxytocin. It is released in your brain at the point of your generosity. And that chemical is what is called the feel-good factor chemical. So when you are generous, when you are compassionate, when you are kind to other people, your brain releases that chemical, oxytocin, which makes you feel good. And you know what that does? That boosts your creativity, because now you're looking for other avenues and other ways to be generous, to be kind, to be helpful, to be supportive. It becomes a virtuous cycle. You're generous, you're happy. Because you're happy, you're generous. Because you're generous, you're happy. And it goes on and on. So it boosts your creativity. It increases your resilience ability. You know, I said earlier on, for you to be generous, you have to suppress your ego. You have to put your ego down. You have to take your eyes off yourself. And that is a fight on its own. But because of your kindness, because of your determination and your willingness, your commitment to be kind, you fight that resistance for that is trying to hold you back from being kind. Kindness. Kindness. If you want to be happy in life, if your desire, if your will, if your longing is to be happy in life, just be kind to people. That's all. Show kindness to others. You will be happy. Again, it doesn't have to be give them the Kilimanjaro mountain. It could be something as small as a conversation that will boost the mood of the other person. How are you doing? How's your family? How's your day? How about this? Oh, well done. You've done really well. Just a word of encouragement, a word of appreciation, a word of joy, of peace. Spread it generously. Give it generously. Another way by which you can spread kindness is to practice self-kindness. I said earlier on, we tend to be more hard on ourselves, or not as kind towards ourselves as we are to other people. It just happens. We expect more, we demand more, and rightly so. But again, don't take that to the extreme, where you beat yourself up and you talk yourself down and you condemn yourself and all of that. You see, Bible talks about a good man out of the treasure of his good heart will bring forth good fruit. If what is in your heart is self-condemnation, is self-defeat, and self-unworthiness, guess what you're going to give? You can only give what you have. So in order for you to have abundance of kindness to give to others, be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Part of being kind to yourself is treat yourself. Talk good about yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and give yourself a swagger. Just enjoy yourself. Be good to yourself. Talk. You know, one of the most sane thing you can do sometimes is to speak to yourself. Just talk to yourself. Oh boy, you're good looking. You're the man. Now, does that mean you are self whatever? But you know that in order for you to be in a position to serve this meal hot and fresh, you have to be a good cook yourself. You have to have the ingredients to mix together and prepare it in order for you to be able to serve it. But if all you have is just throw this one, throw that one, and shove it out, guess what? Nobody is going to taste that food because it is not coming from a heart of kindness. And being kind to yourself is not just because it's not about it's not about feel good alone. That's not what I'm saying. But taking the time to compliment yourself. You know, you did really well today. Well done. I'm really proud of you the way you presented that matter. I am really encouraged the way you handled that situation. It shows that you are growing, man. Encourage yourself, compliment yourself, nurture yourself, not send pamper yourself. Send a message to the future you and let that future you know that you matter, that you are cut out to have this life and have it in abundance to the full till it overflows. Don't let your immediate environment and circumstance, don't let it choke life out of you. Give yourself a gift worth giving. Be good to yourself. When you are good to yourself, you will not have problems. You will not have challenges. You will not have issues being good to others. Be nice, and be nice in the right way. Again, that comes down to what is the motive? What is the motive behind your being nice? Are you being nice so that people can see you and clap for you? Are you being nice because you know somewhere down the line they too will have to be nice to me because it says scratch my back, I'll scratch your back? What is the motive of your being nice? And part of that is sometimes people are generous, people are kind just to boost their own ego. There is a sense of pride that they take on to say, oh yeah, I helped them, if not for me. No, that is not being nice the right way. When you are nice the right way, it is not about you taking the sense of pride out of being generous or out of being kind. And you see, the way to handle that is ask yourself this question. Every time you are in a position to be kind, to be generous, to be good to somebody, ask yourself this. Will I be as happy as I am if someone else is performing this act of kindness towards this other person? Will I still be happy for them? You see, true kindness, genuine generosity, it's not about your personal satisfaction of being a helper, of having helped the person. No, the ethos, the core of generosity is that somebody who needs help gets the help. Somebody that needs favor gets the favor. Somebody that needs support is supported. And it's not about who's giving the support, no. Take yourself out of the equation. Now, if you can do that, you are spreading kindness. You are spreading kindness. And finally, on how to spread kindness, learn to give back. I remember, and I'm sure you've heard about this, where it says, don't ask what America can do for you. Rather, ask what you can do for America. Do you know that if all of us will start to ask, how can I help? How can I help you? How can I be of assistance? How can I support you? How can I alleviate this issue? How can I give you? If we all start to think and ask that question, rather than saying, what's in it for me? What can I get out of this? How can I benefit from this? When we turn that question the other way around and we start saying, how can I help you? How can I be a blessing to you? How can I support what you are doing? How can I show kindness towards you? How can I give you the benefit of the doubt? How can I give you the advantage in this situation? If all of us would embody that vision of, I'm going out to be a helper today, rather than I'm going out to get what I can, and then can everything I get, and then sit on that can. If we can turn it slightly the opposite way, we will all start to see a much better world around us and everywhere else. Imagine if everybody in your household, in your family, start to look at the family from the point of, what can I do to help this family? How can I contribute to this family? Rather than having this mentality of the whole world owe me something and I must get it before I go. Life has a way of blessing a generous heart. And in most cases, that blessing is not in material things. It's not. But if we take the first step, starting with changing our mindset, starting with changing the way we question or the question that we ask, starting with taking ourselves out of the equation, starting with being generous to others, if we will just take the first step towards being a blessing to others, irrespective of who they are, where they're from, the color of their skin, their height, the whatever, every other parameters, every other aspect or variables are irrelevant. I'm just going out to be a blessing. Imagine what this world would be like. Because when you elevate one, when you raise one up, guess what? You're raising everybody up together as one. Kindness is the best legacy that we can be proud of to leave behind for generation yet unborn. There are some people, they don't have any money to their name, they don't have any fame to their name, they don't have any material to their name, but every time people mention their name, the next word is kindness. And people, therefore, will go out of their ways to be a blessing to the generation of that kind person. Look at the life of David and Jonathan. Because of Jonathan's kindness, a time came when David said, wait a minute, is there nobody left in this household that I can be a blessing to? Because of the legacy that Jonathan left behind. If only we as human beings, if only we can change from competing to cooperating, if we can change from me, myself, and I to putting other people's interests first, this world will be a wonderful, wonderful place. And you see, it starts with you. It starts with me. It starts with all of us determining to be kind one to another. Because as we do that, the world is not just becoming better, but you and I are becoming better men and better women. And there is no telling to what seed we're sowing now and the harvest down the road. Be kind. Show kindness. Show kindness. Be generous. Open your eyes. There are so many things, so many people, so many situations, so many instances that we can be kind at and show kindness towards. If only we'll open our eyes to see, open our ears to hear the cry, open our heart to be big enough to accommodate them, open our hands to be long enough to reach out to them. When we do that, we have just added another feather to our cap towards becoming better men and better women. I hope something tonight that is said has been a blessing to you, but more than that, let me encourage you. Let me challenge you. Let me admonish you. Go out there today. Go out there today with one determination in your heart. Before the sun sets today, I am going to be a blessing to somebody. I'm going to be kind to somebody. I'm going to be generous to somebody. I'm going to show somebody favor. I'm going to help somebody. I'm going to support somebody, especially people who are in a position to reciprocate, to give back to you. Now, that's kindness and making the world a better place. Once again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being part of today's program. I know this is, I don't know how you see it, but I know if all of us will practice it, just 10% of what we've heard today, of how we've heard it today, if we will go out tonight, go out tomorrow, go out every day with a mindset that says, I'm going to be good, I'm going to be kind, and I'm going to be generous to somebody. It won't be long before you bump into somebody that has the same mindset, and you will be the recipient of it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Thank you so much for staying on this course with me. Thank you for indulging me. Thank you for giving me the honor and the privilege to be able to speak freely to you like this all the time. I appreciate it. I never take it and will never take it for granted, because I know you could be anywhere else. You could be doing something else, but yet you choose to be part of this program. And I appreciate it. Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.